How do you become a great leader?
You know, if you're in Vietnam and want to know about business, actually, if you're anywhere and want to know about business, you might want to check out Tom Peng. He doesn't fuck around. Yeah, Tom Peng. He's A-okay. Peace.
Today, I did an interview. Someone applied to my company. He wanted to be a leader manager. Okay, I asked him some questions. Why did you leave your last job? And he said, well, you know, I'm a manager at this company, but I don't like to manage people. I don't like to deal with HR. And also, I don't want to work with people in other departments. I don't want to talk to other departments. That's why I quit the job. That's the real answer. That's actually what he said to me. I'm like, holy fucking shit. What the fuck? I did not say that, but I was thinking that for sure. Of course, I'm very calm. I'm composed generally. And I'm like, oh, is that so? If you want to be the manager, that's what you have to do. If you don't want to do it, then be a regular staff. Don't be a manager. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for your time. And I hang up. So that's exactly what happened. We have to do this interview online because of COVID. We cannot meet people face to face during this time. I can't believe what he told me. He want to be a manager, but he doesn't want to deal with other departments. And he doesn't want to manage people, and he doesn't want to deal with HR. That's crazy. So today I want to talk about how you can succeed and become a great leader, and really the difference between leader and regular staff. And some of the things that I tell you will be shocking because you never learned these things in school, in university. People tell you things about leadership, what leadership means to you. What you think about leadership generally comes from books, comes from school, comes from what you believe is leadership. I can tell you all of those things are wrong. All of these things are not true. The people that actually succeed as leaders, they don't do any of those things that the book says. You know, I have an assistant. She came to work for me almost a year now. I remember the second week she's here, she is like very, very arrogant. She talked to me. She launched her PowerPoint presentation, and she was trying to tell me that leadership means people are good. We have to help people, support people. Management bad. Management are bad people. And staff are good people. And basically that's what my idiot assistant at the time was telling me. And I was watching her presentation, I was like, what the fuck? She's a fucking idiot. Of course I didn't say it, but definitely it was on my mind. So I just grabbed her and I slap her around and tell her that you are wrong. This is total fucking bullshit. You just watch. And a year has passed. Today I ask her, what do you think about leadership? And she says, obviously I'm right, because she sees everything that happens in the company. She sees all the problems, all the success, how people lead, what kind of leaders succeed and what kind of leaders fail. And the leaders that succeed do very different things from leaders that fail. And today we're going to talk about that. So when you are the leader, this is what I want. I don't want you to do anything, because your job is not to do the task of the team. So let's say if you're the customer service leader and you're still servicing customers, you're not the leader. Let's say if you're the sales leader and you're still going out there and closing deals, you're not really the leader. If you are engineering manager and you're still coding the product, you're not the leader. Because leadership has different set of problems. When you are the leader, when you're the manager, I want you to push the problem down to your team. I want your team to do the work. The reason why we have a team of, let's say, 30 people in customer service or hundreds of people in engineering, whatever. The reason why we have so many people is because we, as a company, want to scale. We want to produce more. But if in your team, you're the leader and you're doing all the work and your team is like fucking idiots, they can't do anything, they all rely on you, and you do all the work, do you think the company is scaling? Do you think your team is fully utilizing the people that you have? Probably not. That means the team or the company is really not getting the benefit of hiring all those people, because you, the leader, is doing the work and your team doesn't know how to do anything. And I see this again and again, even in my own companies. We hire a leader, the leader is very responsible. He or she does everything, and the team doesn't know how to do anything. And they think it's okay because they still have the mentality that they're staff, they're not leader. When you're the leader, you don't do fucking shit. The reason why, first of all, you're promoted to the leadership position is because you already know how to do everything. You already have the skills and knowledge. And we promote you to become a leader because we want you to pass that knowledge, skill, and experience to the team so that they can all do the job as good as you do. When you can do that, then you are truly a successful leader because you'll run a team that has everybody at maximum capacity and maximum capability. Your team will achieve great results if they all can handle the work. They all can do the job. Not just one person can do the job and then you have a bunch of staff that cannot do anything. I don't understand why leaders allow that to happen. My theory is that a lot of people think about their own job securities. They only think about, I'll do everything, I will be the most important, and they cannot fire me. But when you are the leader, your team is shit and only you can do the work, I will fucking kick you off the team because you have failed as a leader. As a leader, your job is to enable everyone to do great work. And that is not an easy task because most people are shit. Most people are not motivated by inspiration. Most people, they go into a company, they apply at a company, and they work at that company, not because they want to achieve career advancement, build great e-commerce in Vietnam, solve a lot of people's problems, succeed, help the country grow. Most people are not like that. I am like that. Most of you are not. 99.9% of the population do not get inspired by great things, by achieving results, by achieving greatness. Most of those people are inspired by fear. They just want to get a job, get paid very little money, just enough to eat instant noodles, live in a shit apartment or shit house, and that's okay. That's all they want. They have their coffee time with friends. They can go meet their family, parents, and whatever. That's all they want. They don't really want more. Most people are like that. That's majority of the people in my company, in other people's company, in society. Most people are not inspired by greatness. Most people are inspired by fear. They only worry about getting fired. They only worry about losing their income. They only worry about what if there's no more money coming in. I only make 10 million dong and at the end of the month I finish spending my 10 million dong and I wait for the next paycheck. What if that stops? They only worry about tiny little fucking thing. And they're scared to lose their jobs. That's most people. So as a leader, how can you motivate people? That's really the skill that any leader needs to develop. I'll give you two things that you need to focus on if you want to be a great leader. First of all, you gotta be able to motivate people. You gotta be able to give people a purpose. Remember, most people that work in your team, they don't aspire to be great. They just want to be average. They just want to make a little bit of money. They just want to live an average, mediocre life. And you, as the leader, need to give them a purpose. You gotta explain to them why they're doing their job, how this job impacts the community, the society, maybe the world. Maybe that doesn't work. Maybe you have to convince them why this job is important because they can use this job to improve their lives, to improve their families' lives. As a leader, you have to understand how to motivate those people by giving them a purpose, by giving them a mission, by giving them a dream. And that's not easy. That requires persuasion skills. That requires sales skills. You gotta be able to sell that purpose. You gotta be able to sell that vision to your team. And they have to believe you. When they believe you, then they will put in their effort. They will give you their 100%. Maybe not 100, at least they will give you 80%. They will give you more if they understand the purpose and meaning and their mission. So that's one. And two is because most people are driven by fear. They're only scared about losing their job, their income. They only take fucking action when something bad happens. When things are okay, they have no desire to improve. So you have to use that to your advantage. Use fear. You set the KPI. You give them goals. You motivate them, push them, encourage them to get there. But you also use fear. If you don't do this, if you can't do this, then you can't be part of this team. If you can't do this, then there will be punishment. If you can't do this, you fail to do this, then you can't be part of this team and you cannot continue. You gotta use fear. And fear works because most people are afraid. That is the strongest motivator for most people. You gotta use a combination of encouragement and fear. You have to use all the tools in your management tool set. It's like when you go fix a car, you gotta bring a toolbox, and in that toolbox you got many different tools. You gotta use all the tools in your toolbox. There's no one solution for every staff. Every staff is different. They're motivated by different things, and you gotta figure that out. And you gotta figure out when to use motivation, when to use fear. Ultimately, leadership is about people doing what you want. If you're a great leader, you wanna achieve results for your team, for your company. And you gotta figure out how to leverage all the people in your team to make that happen. So leadership is a completely different skill set than when you're a staff. When you're a staff, you're just doing the work. But when you're a leader, you don't do the work. You back off. You let other people do the work. But you are checking them. You're making sure they do it. Because a lot of leaders think that I told them to do it. I told them to do it. I hear that a lot. I told them to do it, but they didn't do it. Telling people to do something is not good enough. People are shit. You gotta check. You gotta measure them. If they did something, you gotta be able to measure how well they did. And then you gotta tell them how to improve. As a leader, you don't do the work, but you're there to motivate. You're there to educate. You're there to train them. You're there to improve their skill set. You're there to motivate. I say motivate again. And you're there to give them goals, mission, purpose. So those are the things leaders do. And when you do that very well, you will become a very strong leader. And when you do that, people will listen to you. They will do what you say, which ultimately is what the definition of leadership is. Leadership is people doing what you want them to do. If they don't do what you say, are you still the fucking leader? No. But unfortunately, a lot of leaders that we promote, even in our company, maybe they're staff and they move up to leadership, they still think like staff. And oftentimes they're still friends with a lot of the other staff and they cannot lead. They cannot tell them what to do. They don't know how to motivate them. And then they're frustrated. They don't know what to do and they don't want to be leader anymore. But you just have to understand, as a leader, you need to motivate the team. You need to set them goals. Basically, goals are KPI, right? You got to give them KPI and they have to reach it. If they reach it, they have reward. If they don't reach it, there's punishment. If they continue to not reach their goals or their KPI, then they have to be let go. They cannot work in your team anymore. You got to be that tough. When you're tough, your team will respect you. When you're weak, they will not. And this is what I see all the time too. So oftentimes we promote a staff to become a leader and they don't know how to lead. And the team says, well, I don't want to do this. Oh no, this is so difficult. Oh, why you give me this difficult job? I don't want to do this difficult. Can you give it to the other person? And then the leader doesn't know what to do because they don't want to lose that friendship. So they accept it, they tolerate. Okay, you don't want to do it, I do it. Okay, I'll take care of it. You don't worry about it. And when you do that, your team becomes shit because your team will never do anything. They'll just push everything back to you and you have to do everything. How can you run a team like that? You can't. You cannot lead if people can tell you they don't want to do it. And when people say, I don't want to do it, you say, fuck you. You're going to do it or you're out. Are they going to be friends with you? Probably not. But you will be a leader. You will be a leader for sure. They will listen to you. Oftentimes, the idea of friendship is so wrong inside a company. So your team member says, I don't want to do it. You do it. And then you say, okay. Are they really being your friend? No. Because if they're your friend, they will cover your back. They will support you. They will make sure you succeed. If you're the leader and you think your team members are your friend and you tell them to do something, they don't do it. Why? It's so unfair. Why should I do it? You know, if they're like that, are they truly your friend? They're not. They're just using you. They're just using the idea of friendship to not having to do the work. and they just blame everything to you. Do you understand? If they're truly your friends, they would cover your ass. They will do the work for you because you are their friend. When they say that they're your friend, but they don't want to do anything you say, are they still your friend? They know you're the leader. If you can achieve the results, your head gets cut off. But they don't give a shit. Are they your friend? Oftentimes, leaders put their friendship ahead of the team's mission. And generally, when that happens, the team will fail. All right, so I've said a lot. So let's summarize. So how do you become a great leader? 1, when you're the leader, you stop being the staff. You cannot do everything in the team. You have to delegate all of the work to your team members. And they have to be able to produce. They have to be as good as you doing their job, better if possible. If they're better, then that's great. You should never fear that your team members are stronger than you. If you have team members that are stronger than you, more capable than you, then you are going to be a very successful leader. If my managers in my company, they're capable and strong and they know everything and they're the subject matter expert in the field that they do and they can manage people and they're just perfect in every way, then my life would be easy because I would just delegate everything to them. And I can focus on the strategy, I can focus on the things I need to do as a CEO. When I have to do everybody's job, do you think I'm a good CEO? If I have to write the content on the website because our fucking content writers can't do it, because they're fucking idiots, do you think I would be a great CEO? Do you think I will run a great company? No. You want to make sure you empower all the people in your company to be able to do their job. They need to be very good at their job so you become a great leader. You have to teach them, educate them, make them as good as possible. That's your job as leader, is to empower them, to make them better staff, to produce more, to produce better, to produce in higher quality. If they can't do it, you gotta cut them. You gotta be able to tell them that this team is too hard for you. I think you're better off working somewhere else where the job is easier. Basically, you're telling them they're stupid in a nice way. But you gotta let them go. Because if they can't do the job and you have to do everything, that's a guaranteed way for you to fail. So as a leader, you gotta make sure the work gets pushed down to your team members. They have to do the work, but you're there to help them solve the biggest problems. You're there to train them, support them, and motivate them, give them a mission, a purpose. Because most people are driven by fear, use all the tools in your toolbox. Motivate them, scare them, threaten them. You're praising them. When they do good things, you say, hey, good job. You give them motivation, you give them drive. When they fail because they don't do a good job or they slack off or get lazy, then you get fucking angry and you scare the shit out of them. It's a combination of like motivation. I'm here to help you. I want to help you with your career. I want to make you a success. I want you to work together and make this company great. And then at the same time, when they can't do the job, you're there to warn them, to even punish them, to make them a little bit scared of you. And that actually is good leadership, because with that, you will drive results. 30 years looking at leadership, looking at great leaders, I can tell you that the people that do that are truly successful leaders. People that want to be nice, want to be friendly with everybody, cannot tell people what to do. You know, if people say they don't want to do it, you just accept it. Those type of leaders, they fail. They fail miserably. The leaders outdo everything themselves because they're scared their team members will get stronger and they get replaced. They get replaced faster that way. They definitely get replaced. When your team is strong, maybe you're a leader right now, maybe later you become manager, maybe later you become director. That only happens when you have a strong team. When your team is shit, you cannot move up in your career as well. So that is leadership. So that is how you become a great leader. So take some fucking action and be a leader in your team, in your company, later on maybe in society, in your community. And as always, don't be a fucktard.